All right, everyone, we are back at it trying to master the art of communication through getting a random prompt and speaking to it for 3 minutes. So, today the prompt is what's something that I've learned recently that's changed my way of thinking in one way, shape, form, or another. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned recently that I think has changed my outlook on the way that I interact with different individuals is the principle of just asking. What that means is not being afraid of asking for the things that I want and the things that I want to see. And there's three reasons to this. One, it allows me to be as authentic as possible and as genuine as possible. Two, it really allows me to dive into my fear of rejection and kind of counteract that. And three, it allows me to see through the possibilities of what the best case scenario can look like. So from the first aspect, when looking at just asking, I want to dive into that last thing I said, where it is the best possible outcome that kind of occurs from that. So when you ask someone something, a lot of the times you have that fear of rejection, or you have that fear of what's the worst case scenario that's going to happen, but you don't necessarily look into the best case scenario of what's going to happen because our brains are just wired that way. So through looking at the principle of just asking, I've had a lot of various different scenarios where instead of focusing on the negative aspect, I actually focus on the positive aspect, and it's led to wonders. I now work a sales role, and in that you have to have many big asks, and not all of them come into fruition. But if you don't ask those asks frequently, then you'll never get the outcome that derives from that. Now, the middle one I kind of touched on, but it's the fear of rejection. If you consistently ask and ask authentically, then you are inherently going to mess up or not get the desired outcome a lot of the times. But if you face that over and over and over again, you build that muscle to be able to deal with that rejection. So by just asking, not only are you opening up to the possibility of good outcomes, but you're making the bad outcomes actually have less weight. The last one that I wanted to touch on is the ability to be authentic. In many different instances, you don't actually ask what you want, you sugarcoat it, and you come away, you come off in a sly, inauthentic manner. By cutting to the point and actually getting to the objective of the conversation, you have no idea where that could lead. Instead of catering your words and the way that you act towards what you think the other person wants to hear, if you just come and lead authentically, they are going to follow back authentically as well. And then the possibilities are endless. So when I look at the one thing that I've learned recently that has changed my outlook, it is the ability to just ask.